back to Access. I'm Ken.
And I'm Nicole.
And we have made it. We have made it to the final book, the final day. It's Revelation. Yay! First things first with the book of Revelation. That is how you say it.
It's not Revelations.
Oh! If you learn anything from us, it's questionable. Please say Revelation and not Revelations.
It's one revelation.
And I'll say a little bit from the history of it, of why that is. Revelation in Greek means it is apocalypse, apocalypto. In Latin, it's revelation, and it means to make something that's hidden or secret revealed. So that, it's kind of to take the shroud off and to show you what's really there. So Revelation is basically one massive image, one experience that this guy John at Patmos has. And yes, within the Revelation, there are many images.
Yeah, one revelation,
but it's one.
Many images.
That's right. In terms of the writing of it, there's constant conversation and argument. It appears to be a letter written during times of persecution, very, very definite on that. But there were multiple persecutions in the Roman world, and the authors that the commentators I've been reading have been saying that Revelation was probably compiled over some periods, and then put into a final version, probably 90 to 100 or so.
Is that when the Diocletian persecution is?
I'm gonna.
That might be way later.
I think it is later.
Diocletian is in 300.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know my emperors very well.
I learned them and forgot. But anyway, so to go back, we've only got 20 minutes.
Okay,
so, so it was written during persecution, and but probably in final form, 90 to 100 sometime in there. The most important thing to know with the Book of Revelation is the genre.
Yes.
We have a genre problem, friends. The genre within which the book of Revelation is written is called the apocalyptic. And we only have one other full-length apocalyptic book, and that is Daniel. And things that mark the apocalyptic, imagery, use of prophetic imagery.
And kind of outrageous imagery, like heightened imagery.
It is heightened, outrageous, although what I want to caution us against is when you don't know anything about the genre, you come to Revelation and you think it's this crazy, wild, what's he smoking, blah.
Yeah.
You all who have read the Bible now at this point, you can go back to Daniel, you can go back to Ezekiel, and you can see what the author of Revelation does is he carefully goes back and lifts these prophetic images, and then like an artist kind of remixes them and transforms them for a new age. So there's nothing wild or random about it. It's very crafty.
Very specific.
Yes.
There's over 500 Old Testament references in Revelation.
And that's not, when you're just having a wild, random, crazy dream.
If you're tripping, this isn't what happens.
Correct, yeah. Now, why, then, does he use images like this? Apocalyptic literature is literature that's written under threat. Where prophetic literature, which also often has extreme imagery like this, is written from the inside of power. Apocalyptic literature is written from the outside of power. And so these are people who are being literally killed and crushed and oppressed. And so what the author of Revelation is doing here is he is trying to write to an oppressed community using images, coded images, that they know, and the outside culture does not. And it's particularly important because one of the coded images is the beast, and he gives it a number, which is 666, and there's a textual variant, 668, which is interesting. We're all frightened about 666. Could be 668. We don't know. And numerologically, this figures into Nero. So it's a book that is writing about a contemporary political leader. And
who persecuted the Christians.
Who persecutes the church.
Harshly.
And if this letter is to be read on its face value like that, anyone having it would be a death sentence. So the letter. So this is part of why we use this kind of wild imagery of this Old Testament wild imagery.
Yeah, I like Coded. I think
Coded
makes
really
a lot of
helpful.
sense. Like, that's a very helpful. That was helpful for me.
And another facet of apocalyptic literature is part of this, when you're in this struggle, they see the world then in terms of struggle.
Yeah.
And for them it's cosmic. So it's huge, angelic, satanic forces that are duking it out on a grand scheme. And then ultimately, it is about the future, but not in the way that I think it gets used in popular culture today.
Yeah.
What the author is doing is he's writing to a people, a historic period, and he's using language that they understand from the Old Testament to talk to them about a day that is coming that he expects them to see.
Yeah, a near day.
It's a near day for them, where what's the result of this battle? I mean, the point is not the battle and the fighting and the destruction. The point is at the very end of the book, where the new Jerusalem, heaven itself, descends under earth and every tear is wiped away. This is why it drives me nuts that Revelation is taught to be this dark and mean and scary book, when
it's a hopeful book.
the end of it's trying to pair the end with the very beginning of Genesis.
Everything is leading towards that end, and that end is always in sight.
Yes.
You know?
And this is an encouraging word. When you tell people the end of the story, who are living in the midst of this awful battle, what you're telling them is, I already know that you are going to do great.
All the harsh things in Revelation is a retelling of their present reality in symbolic encoded language.
It's not like, hey, you guys have it bad, but then this is
your reality now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's frustrating for folks like us is that what people do with this book is they come to it with no background in apocalyptic literature, not knowing that there's a ton of other books that are like this.
Right.
And
Lots of stuff that's not in the Bible.
And then
it's not about the same thing.
Right. Well, then what they do is they rush to try to interpret these images mainly in contemporary ways.
Right.
So, like Hal Lindsey, the late great Planet Earth, he said, this book is about the destruction of the Earth. It's not. And Russia is the bear, and and it's about kind of frightening us with the political realities of the day, as if Revelation, the only use of it is like a crystal ball trying to figure out when Russia is going to send nuclear missiles to blow the whole world up.
It was a crystal ball forecasting our very specific time. Lucky us. Like, it doesn't really.
And then the symbols change as the political realities change, and they go, oh, wait, actually Russia wasn't the bear, then Iraq's maybe the beast.
There is this show on TV, I think I mentioned it, I don't know if we mentioned it on tape, but it was called like Sign of the Times, and every week there was an update on the new end time signs that happened that week.
And and I have to say personally, I'm really upset. This is where I will stake my pole in the ground and say, what upsets me about that kind of reading is that, to me, it dishonors the suffering of the community of Revelation, who are our sisters and brothers in Christ. This book was written in a historical period to historical people who were suffering and trying to give them hope.
It's a comforting book for the community which read it. Like, that they would not find it scary at all. That they would find it very hopeful and joyful and comforting. And that today it's used to scare people, to shame people.
And then if we, to use it properly in my view, it's to try to attend to how those people would have heard it, the world that they lived in, and then try to listen for how the Spirit is speaking to us, through their context. Like we do with every other book.
Right. And I think, I love how it challenges us to be sensitive to the art of the oppressed now.
Yes, exactly.
To pay attention to the music, the literature, the visual arts of people who are non-power currently.
And this offers, to piggyback on that, an excellent example of where a little bit of clash in the New Testament, where Paul and 1 Peter are saying, love the emperor, follow what they're saying, trust the authorities, they're from God. Revelation is saying the authorities are Satan. They will be overthrown soon. We have a resistance community, and hold